Hi, everyone. My name is Jonathan Felden, and this is SOC 206 Social Deviance. Today, I just wanted to introduce myself, as well as kind of get you to understand what you're getting yourself into with this kind of class. First off, I've been an instructor of sociology as well as criminal justice courses for around 8 years. I've taught NC State, Eastern Kentucky University, as well as Wake Tech. Um, I'm originally from Western Kentucky, Mayfield area, and I've lived in the Triangle area for like 9 years. 9 years now. It's been a minute. Um, but yeah, today I just kind of wanted to get understanding for this sort of course and maybe help you navigate it a little bit. It's an online class and it's asynchronous by its nature. So some of you all may not know what that means, and hopefully today we can clear up a few things, right? So I just wanted to go ahead and show you a little bit of the Moodle and then maybe go into the syllabus a little bit. This is not meant to be comprehensive. It's not meant to be a catch-all, sort of you watch this, you're good to go. I expect you all to navigate the Moodle as well as read through your syllabus and understand what you're kind of agreeing to with this sort of course as well, all right? But yeah, let's go ahead and go into the Moodle, right? All right, sharing the screen. Looks good. All right. So whenever you get on the Moodle, you should see something pretty similar to this. I see pretty much the same sort of thing, except I have the option to edit and change it up and that sort of thing. But right now I'm in a student view, so you can see that right there. What I want you to do early on, and this is will be in your weekly task list as well, is kind of just try to navigate this arena. Try to understand exactly where to look for things, where things should be, that sort of thing, right? So you're gonna have your when you're looking over at this thing, there's different ways of navigating it, but you can kind of scroll through the middle, and you're gonna be able to catch your resources there, which I would like you to go through before tackling week one's assignments, as well as eventually, yeah, you get reach down here, and you're gonna have your week one, and then that's gonna have your task list and exactly what you need to do for the week, which in this case is fairly a light week. I'm going to have you read a short article, uh, as well as engage with the forums, which something like that will be kind of common, but it's more of like one of those icebreaker sort of things, getting to know you sort of thing, right? So pretty much I want you to go ahead and understand that you might also see something like this when you log in. And this thing over here is called a block drawer. If you open it up, you can scroll through more. And in there, you can already see my office hours, which you can read through there right there. But overall, if you send me an email or you have a question, I'll do my best to try to get back to you within 24 hours. Usually, it's a lot faster. We all have, smartphones, so I do get you all's messages, and I'll do my best to make sure I get back to you as soon as possible. Right. But if you scroll through here, you can see the course syllabus as well as the forums overall. And then we give you an overview of all the forums. But most weeks, you're going to be able to just click the week and it will actually have your assignment as well as the form prompt for that week. So you may not have to navigate this sort of block drawer that much, but it's always an option. You can kind of look through there. On this side, it is called index. And the index will kind of, help you navigate quicker to things, right? But today, I want to look over the syllabus a little bit and hopefully get you to understand what you're getting into, right? I have tried to put an orientation on here for you all in terms of what is your sort of online distance education, what NC State offers in terms of also learning with Moodle. There's a little tutorial there. I have found the help desk to be extremely useful. So feel free to contact IT and if you have questions pertaining to the actual navigation of the course. But most of the answers in terms of like how do you work Moodle and that, I've been able to solve by just Googling it. A lot of folks have, similar sort of questions when it comes to that. Make sure they know how to make this thing work, right? But most weeks, what you're going to do is be able to click the index for whatever the week may be. And often, like this week, you're going to have a prompt and you click the prompt, it will give you some, in this case, it's kind of an icebreaker, name, major, hometown, that sort of thing. You scroll down here, you click the discussion right here. This is the beginning of the whole entire sort of thread. And you're going to have the option to reply to the thread, and you'll be able to read the directions. But most weeks, I want to have you do an initial sort of response to the thread, and also respond to your classmates. And I do lay it out a little bit in the syllabus, but overall, just make sure when you're doing responses that you are abiding by the standards presented in the prompt, as in terms of word length, in terms of format, that sort of thing. Make sure everybody's able to read what you got up there, and make sure you're following the sort of etiquette in terms of being respectful to your classmates and that. But on a very sort of concrete level, you're going to push reply, click it up, write your reply, which I would suggest doing in a word processor first, like, Microsoft Word, get it, copy, paste it in, that sort of thing. But yeah, most weeks that's what you're going to be kind of doing is going in there and make sure you post the initial post and then two review responses. Now, I have most of these forms set up in a Q&A format, so you will have to wait about 5 minutes after you post something before you can see your classmates' responses. This is so you have a chance to edit. Make sure you're cognizant of that whenever you post something. If you try to get everything done, like if it's due 11:59 at night, maybe make sure you understand there might be a short delay in there. So make sure you get enough time to get things done. But yeah, that's going to be your form. But predominantly, I find the more and more you look through something like Moodle and the more time you spend with it, the more it starts to make sense. It's pretty intuitive overall. And I feel like most of you all probably will be able to get a hold of it in terms of the navigation. But again, you can always just email me, jafelden@ncsU.edu, and I'll do my best to get back to you as quick as possible. Or as you'll see, you can contact me within Microsoft Teams, which is what I use for our web conferencing. A lot of folks use Zoom. I prefer Teams. If you click right here, Microsoft Teams NCSU page, though, it will tell you how to get into Microsoft Teams, how to create, how to access a situation, which means you can speak to each other, which can be done fairly easy whenever you're in Teams by, I'm not going to get too much into the weeds with it today, but pushing chat, send me a question, and we can kind of talk to each other. And if we need to, we can meet, like this, we're using the camera. Most of the time, though, you probably can send an email. I'll get back to you, or if you wanted to use the Teams, we can, go back and forth in there pretty quick and easy. Okay. But yeah, today let's go talk a little bit more about the syllabus and what's expected with this course. Go back and show you once again course syllabus up here in the drawer, as they call it, but it's also over there in the left in the index. But here's your course syllabus. And again, this is pretty in-depth, the syllabus is, but I'm just going to hit some of the highlights, kind of like you would if it was the first day in person and see the courses. Some of the things I like to discuss, make sure we're all on the same page, right? This is kind of our contract between me and you about expectations for the class. So please actually spend some time and read through this thing once, twice at least. Make sure you know what you're getting into. There's my name. That's my son. Picture of us. Yeah, pretty much a lot of stuff I kind of laid out here already. Preferred method of communication is jafelden at ncsu.edu. I expect you to email me from your state account as well. I actually am not supposed to respond to your sort of private emails, so make sure you're using your official email when we're conducting business in terms of communication. Okay. You can ask questions through the student help forum as well. If you want to talk to your classmates, there's a help forum on the top of the Moodle page. You can talk to each other, but often I find it's probably going to be more of an email situation. Here's your course. Again, say synchronous. That means we're not actually meeting in a certain sort of time during the week or anything like that. Most weeks, I'm going to do my best to have a task list ready for you around noon on Mondays. often before that. And I'll send you out an announcement as well to give you a reminder. We'll have the task there. Um, but the understanding is you're going to read through that. You're going to see the due dates. You're going to abide by them, and you're going to get results. And in terms of hopefully good grades, that sort of thing, right? But yeah, it's not synchronous. But we're going to use Moodle for our quizzes and our videos, PowerPoint presentations, all that sort of jazz, right? Individual meetings are available again via Teams, but we can talk more about that. You can always send an email as before too. And you can agree to a time, that sort of thing. Yes, you will need some minimum technical digital literacy skills, and there's a lot of them there. But it's pretty standard for an online course. The understanding is you do know you're probably going to need a computer. You're going to need something that's working in terms of internet. And the understanding is whenever you're taking those sort of quizzes and tests and things like that, you get a good internet connection because a lot of those are timed, and you got to make sure it's stable. Yeah, if you run into a situation which you're dropping out and things like that, that's part of this sort of thing. You got to make sure you're ready, because I can't have a situation in which you're seeing the questions or answering things and then your internet goes out, which may happen sometimes, but you also potentially could have seen all the questions and just like looked up everything, had basically unlimited time. So I'm pretty strict with those sort of things. Make sure you're ready whenever you take those sort of quizzes and tests and things like that. But it's really not as much of an issue as you think. Most of those things, the times when you go on to Moodle, the logs, the course logs also recorded, so I can kind of see when you were taking things or not taking things in terms of exams. Learning outcomes, yeah. Overall, I'm not going to go through a lot of this stuff here, but I do want you to develop your critical thinking skills. I do want you to kind of question this idea of deviance in terms of like, what does it mean in terms of everyday vernacular, but also in the scholarship when we're talking about social rules and how we navigate what happens to folks when they violate them, or from different perspectives, why actions and behaviors are or are not illegal in the first place, right? Uh, and we'll talk more about that as the semester goes on. But yeah, let's go through a little bit more here. Big thing is you do need to have a textbook for this class. I have a section on Moodle as well, but there's different options for you. You could go through the digital sort of ebook, which I mean, I recommend that if you're comfortable using an ebook. Go through the link I have on Moodle, and I think it's might be probably be actually decently cheaper if you you get an ebook. But if you want a physical copy, you might be able to find them lying around. And look, oh my gosh, maybe it disappeared completely. That's crazy. There's the book right there. But yeah, I always like to have a physical copy. But I understand, if you try to save some money, that sort of thing, maybe you want to have the ebook. But I have a link up on Moodle, so you need that. But it is required. I expect you are going to read it, and you need to read it. It's a lot of this sort of material is going to be drawn from that. The expectations that you are reading it, that you are taking it serious. And I will say, in terms of a textbook, it's not the most boring thing. It goes through the perspectives. I think it lays out the material very cleanly. The topic in general is not boring. It really helps a lot. Deviance is fairly interesting, at least for some of us. And well, judging by Netflix, a lot of us, right, in terms of our crime dramas as well as our true crime shows and things like that. So hopefully you enjoy also, the material. And this is an opportunity for you to get to know it a little bit better and how we study this sort of social phenomenon. Okay, or phenomena. There's technological requirements. A lot of stuff here. Yeah, you will. Yeah, Microsoft Office, you'll need some sort of word processor, something that's allowing you to, finish assignments. This should not be something that's groundbreaking for you all. Any online course is going to, have kind of similar expectations as well as formats. So, excuse me. Yeah, in terms of respecting your learning community, this really doesn't come up as much as you might think, but we are talking about something that, in terms of deviance and, well, sociology in general, that inherently does carry some weight in terms of ideological leanings and in terms of potentially controversy. So I would like to make sure you all understand that I am serious about everyone coming in there, respecting each other's diversity of opinions and that sort of thing. Make sure that when we are doing these posts, that you're not doing writing something that's sexist, racist, homophobic, xenophobic, things like that. Make sure that you're not contributing in a way that's counterproductive to the course. It's not an opportunity to kind of like be a keyboard warrior and try to, make your classmates look silly or something like that. That's not what this is about. It's not about your ego. It's about learning. And this course, the way I like to do it, I like folks to feel comfortable in terms of what they can bring to the table. And I find that if you feel more comfortable, you're going to volunteer things and probably have a better discussion than if we're keeping things nice and sterile in terms of, I would say this about what I know about this concept, but I'm afraid about the backlash. So let's make sure we're respecting each other. Let's make sure whenever we are operating the forums that we are doing it from a way in which we're using empirical evidence. Make sure that we're not just arguing from our ideologies or what we consider right and wrong and moral. Make sure that we can back these things up using scholarship. And yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that as the year goes on. Then basically, here's the meat and potatoes of the course. You're going to have 3 exams. Every one of them will cover a certain amount of chapters. I believe the way I have it set up is usually 3 chapters. They can potentially be proctored. I'm playing around with some different options with that, but I'll never have you meet somewhere physically. It's not that sort of class. 150 points are going to come from reaction papers, discussion boards, participation quizzes, that sort of thing. And you can read more about that, but you basically your weekly assignments that aren't exams. That's what I'm talking about. 150 points. And then you're going to see a paper assignment. And I'll make another video for discussing this. But it's kind of broad enough that you can kind of tackle it from different angles. In terms of what I'm really looking for is you to be choose a piece of media and through the sort of eyes of a criminologist examine it using the material in the text as well as the course, answer a few questions, and really kind of get into like, is this thing true or not true? What's is it valid? Like what they're saying about this concept of deviance or not, that sort of thing. But yeah, don't use your phone to complete assignments. Y'all just take it serious in terms of what you're presenting to the course. Be professional. At least that's the expectation I want. Okay. Yep, there's the percentages. You all probably know how state breaks down grades, but there it is for you. And here's your tentative course schedule. As you'll see, I will tell you the dates, the topic, and the assignment. And the way I have the course set up on Moodle is going to be by weeks. So I'm going to try my best to make sure we stick pretty close to this. That's what I like for everybody. Keep it nice and simple. But yeah, a lot of good stuff there. Overall course policies, a few things. I don't take late assignments. I know folks say that, but they're like, well, this happened, No, just make sure you turn your stuff in on time. If you don't, I won't grade it. Eventually it becomes a 0. So make sure you understand that that's the expectation, that you are going to do the work. And if you don't do the work, you are going to get a 0. This sort of class lends itself to, honestly, a breakdown of decent amount of A's, pretty good amount of B's, and some failures. That's how the courses break down. If you do the work, I really don't mind if almost everybody in here kind of gets A's, right? It doesn't make me look bad if you all do well. But I do find that some folks look at something like an online class and think, well, that's easy. I mean, I got plenty of time. I don't have to go up to the school. I don't have to find park, and it can be kind of a hassle. Or if you're living on campus, I got to walk around there. I can kind of just sit in front of the computer, knock it out. But when it comes to online courses, I think folks really underestimate the amount of dedication it takes in terms of, make sure you actually are reading and you are getting the material down. The course's format is set up so it's kind of on your end in terms of make sure you're able to digest this stuff and work through this material. We're not meeting in person, so since we're not meeting, you don't have me talking a bunch of stuff and lecturing for an hour and 15 minutes or so. What you have are the keys to success in terms of the resources I provide you, and as well as the forums and what they can allow in terms of better understanding the material. So it's on you. And I really do hope you all do well. I'm not trying to be scary or nothing with it. It's just you run into these issues over and over, and folks, it's not like a situation if you have some sort of emergency, like you get sick or you got to go to the hospital or something. I'm not gonna just immediately be the most cold person, but I like to know ahead of time. And I will say, in terms of what is not considered an excuse, is pretty well laid out within the university policies. So give those a read if you like. Don't cheat. You know how state is with cheating. So there's student discipline procedures. All these things here you can go into. Follow those links if you like. But cheating really, don't sit there and especially after you've already answered a form or two, try to use chat, some sort of chat AI or things like that. It's really not necessary for a class like this. And yes, it will hurt your grade tremendously. So make sure we're not doing that. Okay. Um, Looking through this more here, course evaluations. Um, Basically at this point, yeah, you can read through the rest, but pretty much what I would expect you to do is read through the syllabus, understand the class, and do your best to, you know, read the material, do your best to make sure that you are staying on task, you are turning on stuff on time. Um, Understand that I'm not going to have an opportunity for you to make up all the work at the end or have individual sort of extra credit. If we had extra credit, it would be for the class. Everything is done holistically for this course. It's done for everybody. So it's up to you all, to make sure you stay on task and you do this solid work. And I hope that we have a great semester here. Okay. Take care. If you have any questions, again, email me. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And best of luck, y'all. Take care.